Hey everyone, it's Gramps here with the Mechabellum replay. Today's game is a Mustang duel, where both my opponent and I will get high level Mustangs, but we'll end up using them in different ways with different techs. Now, after some consideration, I choose the Elite Specialist with a Hound Mustang starter pack. My opponent is Dash Symbol and we're playing the 1900 MR range. They've chosen Training Specialist with a Mustang Crawler starter pack. Looking at the building layout here, I decide to push in from the right, so I go and sell off the big turret. Now, while we could be in a potential headbutt, the anti-cannon turret won't be particularly useful against my opponent's starting units, so I'm not too worried about selling it off. In addition, we'll go ahead and add crawlers to our round 1 composition. While it is a bit risky being elite, getting level 2 chaff, there's nothing that can really knock it out easily, so it should be quite difficult for my opponent to take care of crawlers, so it should help us build some early tempo here. As the round begins, I do notice my opponent has chosen to train their Mustang. While they can't level it to level 2, it does tell me they'll probably be investing in Mustangs. At this point, I do kind of decide to go for a Mustang duel here, seeing how we both start with Mustangs and we're in a headbutt situation. Just to have some fun. Now round 2. We're given our first unit drop. We have a couple interesting options here, but I think ultimately I want an air unit. And while Phoenix could be interesting, I'm not really sure I want to play Phoenix into a potential level 2 Mustang. So instead we take the Phantom Ray. It'll perform the same role as an aerial DPS unit, while being a little bit more survivable. Now I'm concerned if I put it on the right here, they'll just fly in and get knocked out before doing anything useful. So we go ahead and put it on the left here to defend our turret. Now since I want to get rid of the buildings, I go ahead and sell off the chaff clear turret and put some thought into my deployments. The crawlers performed really well for our right side the last round, so I go ahead and add a late crawler. And since there were air options shown for the unit drop, I add a Mustang to the left side. I really don't want to get air cheese, and I'm not confident that a Phantom Ray will completely block a Phoenix drop. So my caution does pay off, and it looks like we'll defend the flank here, and with equal deployments on the right, we should win the right side again as well. Yeah, my opponent's level 2 Mustang's doing insane work, but it does look like we do win the round. Now round 3. Given a couple interesting options, but I pretty quickly take Underground Threat. Recognizing that my opponent's left tower is still quite undefended, we could get a pretty fast paralyze. Since I do want to defend against my opponent's spell, we go ahead and deploy a crawler in the back. Since I'm elite and these crawlers are level 2, they should take care of the spell no problem. Now I want to make sure my flank doesn't take too much to clear, so we add some crawlers there as well. With the remaining 100 supplies, we pick up the attack enhancement. Now since we are planning on using hounds and mustangs in our composition, that should just be generally useful to us. As long as my opponent doesn't take the HP enhancement, it should help our hounds one-shot these crawlers, which will be the biggest thing here. Now, unfortunately, being elite and my opponent not being elite, they can afford to take techs much faster than us, so they do get range here. Now, this could be potentially dangerous, but we do have a paralyzed coming in soon, so hopefully we'll manage to clean up what's left. It's looking pretty good here. Yeah, unfortunately range is letting my opponent completely smash our right side here, but it does look like our Mustangs will clean up, securing that level in the process. Not bad. Now round 4, we're given intensive training. Yeah, we do choose that pretty quickly, primarily because I had a level 3 Mustang. With intensive training, I can make it a level 4 Mustang. Now, since my opponent has ranged their Mustangs, we need to range my Mustangs. Or rather, I need to range my Mustangs so I don't fall behind. And since we have committed to making a level 4 Mustang, you know, level 4 Mustang round 4 is pretty crazy. It feels like a mistake not to get range at this point. Now I want to try and slow down any potential push, recognizing that while I do clear out the flank quickly, the front of my tower is completely undefended. For that purpose, I'll get level 2 sledgehammers. In addition, I really want to make sure to clear out this flank, so I go ahead and add some hounds there as well. Yeah, seeing the steel balls with absorption coming in from my tower, I'm pretty happy with my decision to go for vertical sledges there. And with the range coming in with my Mustangs, I do win the right side as well, and we're looking pretty good. Not doing too much damage with these wins, but, you know, just whittling them down. Now round 5. I do think about taking orbital, but I don't really have a great orbital target. My opponent pushes in pretty quickly. And just like with last round, we have another Mustang that can be potentially level 4, so we go ahead and take that intensive. Now, since orbital was offered and I am pretty vulnerable to an orbital spell myself, I go ahead and make sure to shield. Now, spending 300 to shield against the spell that costs 200 might not be the best decision, but with 2 level 4 units here, I really don't want to give a bunch of EXP to my opponent. So we go ahead and just make sure to field my entire army. Now, seeing how well the sledgehammers worked for my left side, I go ahead and add a sledge to the right side and get some additional chaff. Or excuse me, get a hound actually for this side. Now my opponent has chosen to go HE on the Mustangs. Now, while neither of us has teched hounds, I have picked up more packs of hounds, while my opponent hasn't. They have 5 packs of Mustangs with range and HE. That tells me they'll be using Mustangs primarily for chaff clear, whereas I'll be using my Mustangs primarily for DPS, while relying on my hounds for chaff clear. Now, it does seem like the shields aren't a total waste. We do manage to keep one and we win the round, so I'm pretty happy with that. Round 6, we're given our second unit drop. Now, pretty quickly, I feel like I have to choose the Rhino. While my opponent has steel balls that could take care of a Rhino, an armored Rhino would be devastating for me. I don't, you know, my hounds, my Mustangs aren't going to really clear that efficiently. So I take Rhino to take care of a potential rhino drop for my opponent. Now, I'm not really sure where they'll be pushing in from, so I just put one rhino on each of the backside here. Now, I go ahead and add some chaff for my deployment. I just want to protect my units, making sure to pick up that defensive enhancement at this point, and prioritizing leveling my carry Mustang here, this level 6 Mustang. Now I am definitely a bit concerned about the Rhino drop, and yeah, as I expected, opponent does choose Rhino and even techs armor on them. And as you can see, pretty much bricking my entire army, other than this level 6 Rhino, which will still do half damage to these, you know, level 2 armor enhancement Rhinos. Now, fortunately, it does look like this Rhino paying off, killing off one of my opponent's Rhinos, but this one just going straight for the tower, getting a level up as well. Now, that being said, I do have level 6 Mustangs, and it looks like more than half the pack is alive here. Yeah, with this tower paralyzed, we should be winning the round. I think even the second tower paralyzed. Yeah, very nice. Okay, this is huge for us. Winning the spell round, winning the Rhino round. Even though we don't do too much damage, we are maintaining tempo. Now, round 7, we immediately choose the advanced firepower control system. I mean, we have a level 7 Mustang. It seems like a mistake not to choose this. Now, at this point, we do tech range on the hounds. Since we are using them for chaff clear, now, while I would like to get this Mustang to level 8, I need to prioritize clearing out the Rhinos here. So we go ahead and recruit Rhinos for the round, and I use an intensive making this Rhino level 3. Now that's primarily because I saw this Rhino get a level up, and a level 2 Rhino is just not going to cut it here. On the other hand, I have 2 Rhinos lined up on the right side here, so even if this Rhino gets intensived, you know, 2 level 2 Rhinos should manage to knock it out. Since we need money to do everything we want, we go ahead and take a loan and get our temp range and temp speed as well. Now, while this Rhino is looking a bit dangerous, it does look like I've correctly placed my crawler spell, managing to get that tower paralyzed with almost perfect timing. Yeah, managing to knock out that Rhino before it gets to my tower, very nice. Once again, these absolute beasts just clearing up everything. Now round 8, we're given our 3rd unit drop. So even though I have my own Rhinos, currently they're my biggest problem. So I need something to knock out rhinos, and while we have 3 options here, the fortress is going to be our best bet. Primarily because level 2 fortresses are better than level 2 scorpions, level 2 sabers in my opinion. And if I ever need to, I can place them to get barriers for the rest of my units. Basically, the fortress is a better fit for my composition, and it deals with my primary issue more efficiently than the other units. I go ahead and make sure to line up this fortress with the rhino, this fortress with the rhino, and get a level 9 Mustang here. Yeah, round 8 level 9 Mustang with an improved firepower mod. This should be pretty gross. On top of that, I go ahead and take armor, just in case I have a late rhino. You know, if I run into a situation where all the steel balls are dead, with HE Mustangs coming in, the rhino should live for basically forever. Now again, my opponent does get the leg up on tech here. You know, earlier they got range on the Mustangs before I did, and now they're getting underground blitz, subterranean blitz, whatever you want to call it, before I am, so this round is looking a bit iffy. Yeah, with that tower paralyzed coming in, with steel ball still alive, it does look like we'll be losing the round here. Oh, maybe speaking too soon? Damn, okay. Yeah, so level 5 Mustangs this time carrying me, wiping out that entire push. Now round 9, we're given Mustang production line. There's not too much to think about. I have teched Mustangs and I have forts that can use them. Now since I did get tower paralyzed on the left side, we go ahead and recruit a fortress, slap the item on there, and now that tower should be pretty good. I want to continue taking loans, temp buffs, so we make sure to do that. And really, to slow down this push, we go ahead and take a tower oil. That's going to be pretty brutal. Now, for the last few rounds, I mean, this whole game, really, I've kind of recognized how vulnerable my opponent is in the back. I've used the 2 crawler spells, but I haven't been able to really utilize the flanks because as elite, you know, I don't have the money to mass recruit as much as I'd like. I mean, currently I'm even struggling to tech my units, just spending all my supplies hitting deployments. You know, we have very minimal techs. We have armor, we have range. Not really able to afford too much here. Yeah, it does look like with the addition of the oil there, this left side's getting really trudged down. Now that being said, it does look like I'm gonna lose around here. Oh, with that tower paralyzed, it's not looking too good. Even our level 9 Mustangs here is struggling a bit. We do lose a round for the first time. Now, round 10, we take advanced power system. Now, while we are in a bit of a headbutt situation. Previously, I have been getting tower paralyzes, so the speed is going to be pretty important for us here. And now at this point, I do finally get Mech Rage round 10. You know, we are using the Hounds for chaff clear, but it's just been a situation where I haven't been able to afford it. You even see here, I think about getting shields, but deciding I don't have the money for it. At this point, I set up flanks instead. With a double flank here, hopefully one of them will get through. And a timely tower paralyze should win me the round. Yeah, definitely one of the difficulties about Elite is not being able to do everything you want in terms of deployments and techs and, you know, temp stuff if you need it. Yeah, definitely a bit of a risk here with level 9 Mustangs, level 7 Mustangs, level 4 Mustangs. Just, you know, they're gonna get destroyed by, I guess, 2 missiles. Now it does look like we get pretty lucky here, and you know, our Mustangs don't even get touched by that orbital. And with a single blue hound on that left side, I was gonna say it looks like we win the round, but that tower paralyze is looking quite bad. Ooh, that being said, the counter paralyze with the level 9 Mustangs here, cleaning up this entire push again. Just the single high level packs of Mustangs doing so much work for me this game. Absolutely disgusting. Oh my god. Round 11. Now we're given, I think, 2 interesting options here. Photon coating, nano repair kit. They effectively make our forts tankier. You know, I think I can afford spending the extra for a nano repair kit. I have a level 3 fortress potentially I could throw it on, so we might as well just grab it, slap it on there. Again, quite late, round 11, we pick up a second tech on our Mustangs and get AP. And just look at that damage, 813. Now, like I've mentioned earlier, my opponent's towers are still quite undefended. My crawler spell is up again, and I think I can force a tower paralyze here. I just want to make sure to get a crawler on this left side. I have the crawler spell defending the right side. One of these 2 flanks should get through. Now looking at my remaining supplies, you know, again, once mentioning kind of a problem, or rather a consideration for Elite, is since you're buying units at level 2, it's going to be a bit harder to tech units you want. And really, what I need here is mass survivability, or HP, for my units. So I have quite a few crawlers. They're at base level 2, some of them can be level 3. So I get sub blitz and level some of my crawlers here. Yeah, like I predicted, Hounds getting through, and it should be pretty easy cleanup from here. Oh, and finishing off our opponent at round 11. Would you look at that? But yeah, definitely had round 9 Mustang, or sorry, level 9 Mustang at round 8, I believe. Having 2 level 4 Mustangs round 5. I think this game was pretty gross, I think. Not doing the top damage that round, I think, just because there's more to do damage on this side. I think with level 8 Mustangs here, yeah, look at that damage. And even on my opponent's board, look at the damage of these guys. No, especially this guy, yeah. But yeah, this was definitely an interesting game. I mean, we're seeing much more, or rather, I'm seeing much more Mustang starts with this patch, but Mustang v Mustang, I think, is still pretty uncommon, and having both of us commit into them and choose different techs. But yeah, this was definitely an interesting game. I had a lot of fun, and I think this is my first time I've gotten something crazy like a level 9 Mustang with the improved firepower mod. So I had a lot of fun, and I hope you guys had fun watching it. But yeah, if you enjoyed the content, consider liking and subscribing. If you have any thoughts or comments, let me know down below. And if you want to see me play live, follow me on Twitch. But that's all for now, and I hope you guys have a great rest of the season, the few hours that are left. But I'll catch you guys next time.